if somebody wants to be in movies, you can buy their life and say, we'll do 2 movies of your life for that year, or 3 or 4 or 5, depending on how interesting that person is. If their life is interesting enough, they can go on forever.
Okay, if you know anything about Andy Warhol or have read any of the books about him, you know that as a child, he adored movie stars. When he became a famous painter, which was his altruistic, his highest goal, to become a world-renowned fine arts painter, then once that happened, his deeper inner life came out. He wanted to be a portrayer of glamour, because to him, glamour was the most powerful thing in the world. Everyone all over the world will go to see a movie with Marilyn Monroe in it.
The first thing Andy had to do was find a queen to play opposite his king. So he did it by taking the attitude that he would create a movie studio situation where he would obviously be the sort of Warner Brothers. He would be Jack Warner. He would be the sort of top guy. But you'd have the script writer, the director, the this, the that, and then you'd have the parade of female stars. At the times he was most influenced by in the movies were the 30s, when all the major stars really were female. You know, you have these great images of Dietrich, Garbo, et cetera, you know. And so he wanted to have that, and he did. He immediately got it going. It took him about a year. He had his first couple of choices didn't work out too well. You know, they were a bit too crazy, and they didn't really make it. They were good on film, but they didn't know how to give interviews or something, right? But Baby Jane Holzer, who started working with him in '63, which is a socialite, you know, just coming down to have fun. By '64, Baby Jane Holzer was the girl of the year, the woman and the star, the queen of the factory.
So Andy, you know, came in during that very exciting period when everybody was talking about, I want to make film. I'm making a film. I'm making, you know, and then he got the the bug.
Those movies were done in the time of the 50s movies where the sound was perfect, the makeup was perfect. This was a girl and that was a boy. If he's gay, he better not show it. You know, everything was like this solidified, fucking perfect thing. And Warhol suddenly makes movies where the sound is shitty. He's on a real location. You know, maybe that's a girl, maybe that's a boy. Oh my God, you know, there is no story, so we can't follow anything. It was all about breaking things open, just like pop art was all about breaking things apart.
You know, to be on screen is some kind of a revelation, a revelator. And you can see who you are, because you don't know who you are, and you don't record what you said. What I love about his movie is that it's really a cinema realite, opposed to Godard, that would be cinema verite, which is such a, well, whatever.
But Edie was something else. Edie took the whole thing up to another level because of her connections to society and money and a family which goes back to the Mayflower and so forth, and a fantastic androgynous, childlike girl, woman type thing. She had it all together, and she was, you know, absolutely fantastic. One of those people who just burned through the screen. You know, when she was on the screen, you just watched her. So he had a real gold mine in Edie, and he knew it. So he brought her to the center. So now you have a sort of the visual situation. You've got Andy with Edie, then usually Gerard in a photo situation or a nighttime situation. They'd be a triangular thing. And he made 11 films with Edie in between, I think it was May of '65, April of '65, and December of '65. He made, 11 films.
This was early '64. We all went to the World's Fair. We came back. We must have gone to the factory. She met Andy. And she was gorgeous, and he was swept away, and he fell in love with her like everyone else did. And she signed every check in town, and she was the perfect sidekick for him, you know. So Gerard was replaced by her. He couldn't have been too smiling.
Well, how does your family feel about your being in these movies?
They hate it. They're terrified. They think I'm just beyond belief, out the window with me, you know. And they've decided I shouldn't have any money. They hated the idea of my doing any modeling to make my own way. And as soon as I got into this, they're sending telegrams saying, "Oh, you've got to go model, please, just for a short time anyway."
So, but then you saw for the first time with Edie, you saw the rise and fall of the Girl of the Year. And of course, the very title Girl of the Year kind of sets you up for the fall. But on the other hand, I think that also he probably realized that the kind of thing he was doing, he would need to have a new Girl of the Year because of the pace of pop culture, because of the fact that he'd been working to death. And they wouldn't survive for much longer than that anyway. So, you know, that's basically what happened. I mean, then he got Nico, then he got Ultra, then he got International Velvet, then he got Viva, you know, and so on and so on. And each of them, some of them have much shorter spans than others. Andy said in a number of his books and writings that the thing he really loved most was good talkers. And it's true. I mean, his favorite thing of all was for a beautiful woman to tell him in great detail about her sex life, so he could kind of, you know, experience it vicariously.
Everybody gets to a point with his or her family where they try to cut you off. Who can blame the family? What did you need this wild person going around spending your hard inherited money on? You know.
And Andy just, you know, held tight. Said, I don't have any money. I can't pay. You know, I can't pay you. He was trying to convince Edie at that point. He was getting really nervous that at some point we're all going to get rich, you know. But Edie just couldn't wait around any longer.
That you could fill in the blank, Edie, the word Edie, with the names of any one of the superstars. Everyone's relation with Andy was stressed because it seemed from reading the morning papers a number of times his name was mentioned that you were dealing with the most, you know, Raja, you know, Mogador, or the richest, you know, Sheikh of Arabia or something. It wasn't true. He wasn't even making that much from the paint. He was making no money from the movies, and that was just a game people